Hi, I'm Annie from Labyrinth Books. I'm the kids buyer here,
And I'm Jacob. I also work here in the kids section at Labyrinth Books.
and we wanted to talk to you about some of the new books that are coming in um, while our doors are closed, but we still very much want to share these cool things with you.
Yeah.
So some of the books we want to talk about today have to do with gardens and springtime,
Yeah.
because I know some of us who are in our houses a lot and maybe trying to occupy our children have been taking them outside and getting to see all the new cool things that are happening. So we have some very nice books that support that.
Yeah. One. I'll start.
Yeah. That's such a great one.
Yeah. One that I think actually is universally loved here in the store
Yeah.
pretty much immediately was "You Are Never Alone."
Even before that seemed like a really important
Yeah,
thing to tell a
even
kid.
before we really kind of connected with it, we realized that this book has it's very simple when as far as reading goes,
Yeah.
you know. But what makes it just it really tries to try and connect the idea that everything does affect everything else,
Yeah.
and we're all connected, and from the microbes to the the biggest blue whales and everything in between, we all kind of have an impact on each other. And it has a collage art style that I actually really enjoy. Feels handmade, feels really well put together. I don't know, it's one of those books that very simple message, but it covers a lot of ground. It talks about, here we have a kid riding on a bat, and then one sitting on the belly of a giant corgi. You know, it's a little more imaginative and a little really more stretch its wings, I would say.
Yeah, and it has the back matter is also really interesting.
Yes.
And she gives links to a lot of the because she'll drop these amazing facts in there. Like
Yeah.
The bit about go wallow in the mud, it's good for you.
Yeah.
That's really
Yes.
it is. If you put your
Yes.
hands in the dirt, there are microbes in the dirt. This is why we like to garden.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why it fits in so well.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
the message that even that now that we're all so separate from each other,
Yeah.
that we are deeply connected by the world we live in.
Yeah, it's really poignant, and I think even better that it didn't mean to be. It just is.
Yeah. Speaking of putting your hands in the dirt, In My Garden is a book that was written by Charlotte Zolotow, who's you may know as a mid-century author. She wrote Mr. Rabbit and the Lovely Present. This one is not a text I'm familiar with. The illustrator is Philip Stead, who you may also know. He and his wife, Erin Stead, Erin won the Caldecott.
Yeah.
But Phil is also a really remarkable illustrator, and he's taken the text and just made it, added fresh illustrations, and it's a really simple. Look at the not the cat. I know this won't read right now, but it's just very much in the spirit of Margaret Wise Brown's important book. It tells you what this little girl loves best in her garden, and in the spring she loves the birds building nests.
Yeah.
And then she talks about the other things she loves in the spring, but she loves birds building nests the best. It gives you just a little window into all of the pleasures of the seasons, and it starts in spring, but it talks about all of them, and it talks about them in this really concrete but very beautiful way, with gorgeous illustrations, and it's just kind of an ode to being outside that really resonates.
Yeah.
I think.
So another one this one just came out here too. Goodnight Veggies. It is again very simple as far as the reading goes. Very simple sentences, but it takes place at sunset in the garden, and then as things are going to bed, the worm, who I guess is our protagonist if we had to pick one, escapes around his nest.
There's a lowly worm shout out in there too.
There is?
Yeah,
There's a
there
lowly.
is.
I missed
There is
that.
a lowly worm shout out. I'll have to find it for you, but
Okay.
But for those of you who know lowly worm,
We got
we bring him in.
in the lowly worm expanded universe.
Yeah.
But yes, very a little like not straight slant rhymes, but just rhythmic speech pattern. So tossing, turning veggies, need to get some rest. turnips tucked in tightly, alliteration, things like that. So it's very fun to read too, as the worm explores this garden going to sleep at the end of the day. And I think one of my favorite bits was just everyone but the the beets are beat.
Yeah,
I like that. I don't know, the expressive eye, the somehow very expressive eyes of the beets with just huge eyeshadow,
Yeah.
eye bags is very,
They're tired.
it's adorable.
These are tired.
But yeah, it's really cute and also just a fun way to.
Yeah, and those of you who are regulars at the Princeton Children's Book Festival may well have met Zachariah O'Hara, who is a Philadelphia author and a
Oh.
fairly delightful human, as far as I can tell. So that's also nice.
Yeah, excellent.
Your kids may know him already. For many, many years, we have been trying to make sure that kids in this area have access to Suzanne Burner, I never get her name.
I'll never be able to.
Wrote Suzanne Burner's All Around the Town.
Yeah.
Which has just found a new publisher in the U.S. and has been published, instead of with all 4 volumes together, it's now in these large board books. So if you think you've seen it before, you may have, but if you've not, and you have children, I'd say 18 months
Yeah.
to like 3 or 4,
Yeah.
this is a great thing to have. There are 4 of them. This is spring. They all have the same cast of characters. They're wordless, and you follow each character through their day. So I think this is the one where something bad is going to happen to her hat. And it's just different adventures through the same town, and you follow the same characters in different seasons. Oh yeah, her hat's gone. She loses her hat every season. There's a lot to talk about. So it has kind of a Richard Scarry, Where's Waldo mashup, sort of. They're looking for things. They're very involved. But just great to spend time with. It has sort of a Wimmelbook quality to just the kind of book that kids can spend lots of time.
A lot of big spreads, a lot to look at, but but you can also, there's a story there that you can make and you can expand on. And
there are a lot of different.
And that's fun to do. To have to go through it.
A lot of different narrative through lines.
Yeah.
Really, especially great for kids who are just pre-reading and are figuring out how stories work.
Yeah.
To put it into their own words, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We like Corvids a lot, Jacob and I.
We do. We have a
shared affinity for
absolutely
the juvenile delinquents of the bird world.
Absolutely, no, they're terrifyingly smart, and I love all of their behavioral tics. So this is an ongoing series called Science Comics. It's been going on how long? Maybe
4 or 5 years anyway.
Yeah, but it's by First Second, they're probably the most well-known children's book graphic novel publisher, at least as far as.
Well, there's Scholastic, but
That's true.
First, we can I say we like First Second a lot.
Yeah, First Second is always worth checking out. Pretty much anything they put out. So this is their a nonfiction science one. What I like about this, and I guess the other ones too, to some extent.
Yeah.
They always have a lovely framing device for all of the facts they want to talk about.
Yeah.
And they cover a lot of my favorite crow facts in here. So this premise is essentially a crow meets a dog who's, of course, much like most dogs, just completely trusting and earnest and friendly.
Why wouldn't you want to be friend with a crow who can figure out how to unlatch the gate?
Yes,
he's a good friend to have.
He's a good friend to have. And so the crow and the dog go off on an adventure to get some food or find some things. The crow, meanwhile, demonstrates his prowess with problem solving and skill sharing. Where there's, of course, a ton of crow facts in here, from the very simple to the very to getting into how species and genus breaks down. Just a lot of and even the size of their brains and what parts of your brain will do. There's some bit about that. There's, of course, the famous Vancouver crow holding a knife reference.
I hadn't gotten
Did you
that far.
remember that?
No, tell me about
Yeah.
this.
Well, so a crow, Canuck the crow was a famous crow in Canada. He was a celebrity, released crow. There was a crime scene that had happened, and while police were trying to investigate the crime scene, Canuck stole the knife off of the crime scene. It was just photographed as he sat on a car that was on fire with holding a knife. There's a great photo of that.
That's really cool.
It's really cool. But, you know, it includes, so you got your pop stories, you got your celebrity crows, and then you just also have how crows have been able to, make tools, problem solve, remember things and faces, and it's I don't know, it's very neat.
Yeah, I mean, crows are incredible animals. This is really funny and engaging.
Yes, and that's another thing too. It has a good time with it. It's not just here are some facts about crows. It really is like an adventure.
Yeah, just the way they draw the eyelid on the crow. Like he's got such a personality.
It's very expressive. Yeah,
it's pretty great. All right.